Yeah. Good evening, all, and thanks for this opportunity to share this book review. So, and this is a wonderful platform which we are going to start. So, I'm really proud that I'm starting this first event. So, basically, today we are going to discuss about this time management, which is written by Tracy. So, I originally took this book in regional language, and I'll try to translate it in this presentation. So I did my best. I hope you will also feel that. Yeah, basically the author he trying to explain the time management, and the first three chapters he trying to create the intention why we need to uh, what is the intention for learning this time management. So that's what the first three chapters is briefing about this time management principles. So first, in the first chapter they are discussing about the what is the psychology which is behind this time management, why we to get this time management, what kind of psychology we need. So in that chapter he is basically discussing about how to evaluate self. So what is the determination of our life? That we need to do. And he is also discussing about two control center, that is internal control center and external control center. People basically they are get into two types of these control centers. Whenever people feel that everything in their control, so they that will be handled by the internal control center. And few people they feel like they are overrun by their managers, and they don't have the time to handle these their own task. This is called as an external control center. And he is discussing about these control centers. And what he's trying to explain, whatever our thoughts and feelings will be us. So the effective people always believe on the self. Whatever they are doing, they believe that. So, and he is trying to explain our belief only we are. So what we believe, that we become. So that also he is explaining. And to make a resolution, they are giving some directions to make a resolutions. So before getting into the time management, so we have to be think, and we have to most determine that we want to become a time management person. And for that positivity, he educating us. We have to pull ourselves as a expert. So first we have to, if we are not an expert, or even though if we are not an expert, we have to think like an expert before going to learn this time management. That is the psychology. First, in the first chapter, they are Brian Tracy is trying to explain. And the just a moment, sir. Okay, so the second chapter in the intention part, to to learn the time management. Before learning this time management, we need to know your core values. What is your core value? Who are you are, and what is your core value? These things you need to know, then only you can able to manage the time properly. So you then only the time management will help us to get into it. And so to ask, basically he is giving some suggestions how to find that. Ask ourselves why I'm doing this, and whatever currently I'm doing, right, and why I'm doing this. So this question we have to ask ourselves, and we need to find what is the reason for our life, and what is our life goal. And by asking why we are doing every day we are waking up and going to office. So these reasons we have to find. And what is your most respectful thing. So basically what he is telling, that whatever the value is directly proportional to the happiness. So if you find your core value, and you are traveling in parallel with to that core values, then by default you have happiness. because if you to make it simple, if you are profession, if you're choosing your profession with your core values, then that happiness will be proportionally increased. That's what he is trying to explain in this. And we have to realize that we are the superpower. And how to find the core values, he is giving one exercise on how to find the core values. So we have to ask ourselves, usually somebody is asking who you are. So in that case we will explain ourselves about I'm doing I'm this is courier, so I'm doing I'm working on this concern, like that we are explaining. But we have to ask ourselves who I am, what is my own perspective. I need to think in my own perspective, and we need to think in others perspective, what others will say about us. So around the people, what are the who are all the people around us, what in their perspective who I am. These things we need to analyze, and we need to uh, analyze about the people around us. So what is my perspective on about the peoples, how the peoples are good or bad, and they are cunning or they are very good, and these kind of thoughts create your core values. And what is your thoughts about life, whether it is an adventure trip or it is in a tragedy. So that the what is the thought process about the life also make your core value. And what is your big goal about your personal and family goals. These things you need to write a big goals about your own and your professional. So these things, it helps you to identify what is your core value. That's what he is explaining in this determining the core values. And he is also about, talking about the vision and mission. Before getting into this time management, he keep on talking about these psychologies and what is our own desire and what is the vision and mission. We have to be very clear before getting into learning this time management. So for this vision and mission, they are giving the practices. Whenever we have to do things in end within mind. So we need to we need to whatever your vision, and that vision will actually be successful if you change something in others' life. So these kind of the way of identifying the vision, mission, and your core values and what is the psychology, we have to be ready with to learn this time management. These three chapters basically is teaching about the intention to read the time management. And for this project forward and look backward. So they are telling that whenever you are going to plan, you need to think think ahead, and you have to act it backward from the end to starting. You have to act like a end to beginning. So that's what he is explaining in this chapter 4. So and he is also telling that spending 30 minutes in a day, which helps, and even in the morning, so which helps, and what you want to be in the next 5 years. So this help you become a great leader, and this impact your future also. And based on this Harvard University study, the 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 experts who is uh, the successful people, they have the vision for next 25 years. So what they're telling, the successor habit is think forward and work backward is the successor habit. And he also suggests, give a suggestion of making the good resolution at present. And he is insisting another key point is, without knowing the vision, if you use the time management, this will be disaster. Without your vision, if you are practicing the wrong time management, you will end up with the wrong place. That's what he is discussing in the 4th chapter. And the 5th chapter is how to make a plan. So usually time management experts took time to analyze the task and list it down in the priority list. What the study says, 1 minute of effective planning saves 10 minutes of execution. and time taking for thinking for the writing the plan, which yields 1,000% of results. And they also insist about the 20/80 rule. So 20% of task which actually controls the 80% of activity in our plan. So we have to identify this 20%, and which result in the, if you really identify that 20%, and if you make it that possible, then the remaining 80% will be automatically done. So that's what he's trying to explain. And the unplanned tasks are the reason for the failure. Whenever there is a failure, so if your assumptions and the unplanned is the one of the most one of the biggest reason for the failure. So how to reach a goal? Plan to reach a goal is there are 3 steps which has been suggested by Brian Tracy. What is the barrier between you and your goal? And they asking us to use the 20/80 rule. So identify that 20% of barrier that will resolve your 80% of rest of the activity. And what is the additional talents and information and knowledge required that we need to learn. So, and whose support is required to reach the goal, and what is the favor you are going to do to the person to get the support. These are all the techniques he is suggesting to reach the goal. And how to make a clear working plan. So checklist, it always bring the high efficiency, and make a visual drawing like mind map or flow chart and per chart, and the plan should be with perfect start date and end date, which is important. And it is set a clearly written goal for everybody. So who are all in the associated in the plan, we have to define a clear goal for each and every person, and it should be clear and measurable and time bound. So basically, don't assume that people will know that. So he is insisting the plan manager to explain the each and every activity to the everybody. So and he also referred that the General Motors set a goal on each and every key person of this company, which result in the company as it was lost in 2019, and it got the loss in the company was lost in 2019, and they can able to make 490 crores in 2012. That's what they got a very good reputation by setting the goals on each and every key persons. And the next chapter will be preparing the daily task list. How to prepare a daily task list? The key things, prepare the task list before a day ahead. So before going to sleep, that help us, and it will help our subconscious mind to work for us. So in that way, the next day you will get 2 hours, that is 120 minutes of effective time to work on this task list. And there is another wonderful method, ABCD method, which is explained by Brian Tracy, which is really good, that we have to prioritize the task list with the A, B, C, D, E, and F. What exactly A? A means it has to, we have to do this. It is must to do, otherwise it will be a big business impact will be there. And second will be that it will have a less impact. So when we have to do this, whenever there is no pending in A, then we have to choose the B. And C is simply, it is easy, and there is no positive or negative. It is like we are to sending emails, we are discussing about some key subjects with the colleagues. The C, it is very clear that whenever we don't have A and B in our task list, then we need to go for C. And the D and E is one of the key thing. And D, what are the tasks which we need to share it to the team members to identify that. So some key tasks, some of the tasks which you should not get into that. So for that task will be marked as D, and that needs to be allocated to your team member. And E is the task which we should not take it. We have to throw it to into the dustbin. To find out E, how I can find out these tasks belongs to E. So you just ask yourself, and what happened if I stop doing this? If there is no difference, there is no difference in the result, then that is the E. So what we need to do? So two key things: don't do other tasks which is not in the list. So that is one of the key thing. And you should also have what are all the things you should not do. These two key lists we should have. That's what he is suggesting his in this daily task preparation. So how to set clear priorities? Again, he is referring the same 80-20 Pareto rule. So identify the 20% of task and contribute for 80% of task. So we have to identify what 20% which really contribute to that remaining 80%. So that we have to identify and create a own pressure for ourselves. So like for example, if you are going vacation for tomorrow, then what are all the things we need to do before going to leaving to the vacation? What are all the pending activities we are going to complete? So we need to create that much urgency on each and every time to complete our activity on priority and within a time. And concentrate if you are concentrating on the low priority is the one of the enemy for the time management principles. And high and the high important for the high priority rules. There are the rule 3 is the one of the principle he is explaining about. What exactly is, if in the totally you have n number of tasks, out of this you have only time to complete only 3 tasks. So in that case, if you have a chance to execute only one task, so what will be that? If you have an opportunity to execute only one task, if you have to ask yourself, and what is the task which I can make, which I can do, which can create the business value for the company. So suddenly one task which come and jump in front of you, and that is the task you need to do. Similarly, you ask for what is the two big tasks which I can make it, which make a big contribution to the company. Similarly, you will get a 2 tasks, and likewise 3 also. If you don't get answer for this above question, seriously you are in trouble. You have to reach the manager to you get an enlightenment about your scopes and responsibilities. And another one interesting quadrants method. So what are all the tasks which is important and unimportant? Based on that, we have a categorizing it as a 4 quadrant, right? So the quadrant 1 is important and urgent, like what we discussed in ABCDEF. This is an identifying the task which is urgent and which is not urgent, which we need to focus, which we should not. So the first quadrant is urgent and important. So which makes a long-term impact for the business. Right? That is in the first quadrant, which definitely we need to do. This is the highest priority. The second quadrant, what is that? Important and but less urgent. For example, we need to prepare a monthly report, right? So we need to read the monthly domain books, and we need to have a fitness. These are all the important, but it is not urgent. So whenever you don't have the first quadrant activity, then you can focus on the second quadrant. But third quadrant, urgent but less important. Actually, it is a trap. Most of the employees nowadays, they are getting into the trap. So they are keep on doing some activities which actually not business critical. So that comes under this, like sending, replying to the emails, or sending SMS and chatting with the other employees. So in the study, it found that 50% of people are into that third quadrant. And fourth quadrant is that less important and less urgent. It is in a junk quadrant to read unwanted mails and shopping, getting into the commercial sites and for these e-commerce shoppings and doing in the daytime. So this is in the fourth quadrant. So to make a good habit, so practice a good things again and again, it will be a good habit. So that's what he is saying in this. stay on a track this ninth chapter. And going to that next one, determine your key results. Which is the key result area? We have to identify which is the key result area of ours. So you know your key result area. So to know this, you have to ask yourself, why I have been recruited? Why I have been recruited for this company, or why I'm getting paid for this job? So check yourself and check with your manager. Ask this when you have a n number of tasks. If you have you are unable to prioritize, you feel that all the tasks are important, then in that situation you have to ask yourself, why I have been recruited and why I have been paid. That will show your key result area. So with that, you can able to easily prioritize and don't get diverted. Some activities which can be done by you only, because if you are handling a responsible, that activity can be done by you only. In that case, that activity should be done by you. So bring more focus on the key areas which really brings you the happiness. Okay, so the what are the activity which really brings you the frustration, which will not give you the greater results, right? So important key result areas are precise planning and identifying the financial resources and identifying the manpower and reviewing and get results, ensure it time bound, and you should know what your people is doing behind you, and you should also inform that what you are doing to you people above to you and below to you. So the key result area of your boss, even you should know your immediate manager and your super boss key result area. Then only you can able to contribute in that area. So that's what I is explaining on this key result. And delegation is also defining a rules how to delegate how to delegate the jobs. So a person can do a 70% of job, then he's capable for handling that activity, then delegate the job, don't do it. So so by increasing your values and values by moving, so start doing to the managing. So whenever you start moving to that position, then you are by default you are increasing your values. So declare the delegation skill, how to improve your delegating skill. Find a right person and give them a timeline and what the quality you are expecting on that work, and keep on give the review schedule, and need to give everything in the return to that person. So then he will do all this activity what you are expecting, instead of assuming that he can able to do. If you are having a problem to delegate, then then obviously you will be having more activities to do. So we obviously we need to find most of the activities need to be delegated. So that's what I is explaining. And the next chapter is explaining about we need to do the things in single-minded, concentrate on single-minded. So one activity at a time. So and he's also explaining, he strongly recommend that. So doing multiple things and same time, which actually takes 5 times longer than the original value. So if I am taking 10 minutes to complete an activity, in that case, so if I am taking 5 different tasks at the same time, so I take 50 minutes to complete one activity by doing the multitasking. So that's what he is explaining. So avoid doing the multiple jobs at the time. So that's what he is suggesting. By doing that, and another interesting thing, every day you are doing that, you are reducing your IQ level number by 10. So each and every day. So that's what I is giving that detail. That IQ number by 10 we are losing every day by doing this kind of multitasking. So make determination and focus on one thing. For that, what he is telling that you don't need to respond the emails and call immediately. So once if you are focusing on this one job, so you are doing to concentrated on one job, then you don't respond to email and phone calls. So the next chapter, how to overcome the procrastination. So procrastination actually steals your time, but what he's also explaining that most of the people doing the procrastination, even the effective people also doing the procrastination, but they procrastinate the task which ends with no value. So whenever that they understood the task which will not give a result, they will procrastinate the value. That is one of the key thing which we need to take it. And the key word for overcome the procrastination is do it now and do it now. So to avoid the procrastination. So, and if you have a bunch of tasks, then he suggested us to take the larger task and make it chunk and do it first. That will bring more time to do these less small tasks. And the what management is expecting key skills from the employees is determine the periodicity. The people who has the ability to determine the periodicities and complete the on time, their own job in on time. These two key things which is the management usually expect from the employees. The next chapter will be create block of time. And the create block of time is whenever the successful people always find some time in the morning to complete all their activity of official activity, so that they can find some good enough time in the office to manage their activity which is happening there in the office. So they can he's suggesting that doing some activities in the early morning and in the lunch hours, so that we can avoid the interruption of the people. That's what he's suggesting. And control interruption, where so once you enter into the office, so you have to get into the work. So that's what the good practice to do without any interruption. So if once you enter into the office, straight away go and sit and we can start the activity. So instead of chatting with colleagues or reading the newspaper and just exploring the internet, so enter into office, work the entire day. So and that is one of the good techniques is telling that, and reduce interruption. So if somebody is calling us and they are keep on talking, they start talking, you begin with what is the state conversation you want. So don't, instead of dragging the phone call. And if somebody is entering into your room and which is unappointed, so suddenly wake up from seat and go away from this room, and you can tell him that, so I have another priority, if there is anything I want to help. So that is one of the tips he is giving us. And he also suggests don't meet your guest in your room. So it is better to have a separate guest meeting room, and so within a stipulated time, we can tell them that I have another meeting and we need to go to that call. Like that, we have to complete the call and we need within the given time. So these are all the tips which he has given, and the control interruption, and how to batch the task. So we need to group the activities like sending emails and making a phone calls and reading the emails and these kind of acts which needed to group it, and we can do it on the particular time. For example, if you want to send an email, you need to make a time like 10 to 11. I'm going to do the responding to all my emails. And even what they are suggesting, right? Some of the experts, they have an automatic message. So in that automatic message, they are sending that I can read and respond email in twice a day. So if in case of emergency, please reach us in the emergency. That's kind of messages, automatic messages. Some of the experts, they are already practicing. That's what he is mentioning, right? And he also suggests to write emails with straight to message and very crisp. So in the next chapter, he's just giving how to organize the phone calls. You make a note before calling to the people. So note down, you have to make a note like how you are preparing for your meeting with your manager. And talking once you if you are talking to the people, be polite and get confirmation is that the right time to discuss with them. So like that, we have to approach our colleagues in the phone. And one of the interesting topic is the effective meeting, which is really help all of us in this case. In our organization, in any organization, right, 25 to 50% of time was spent in the meetings, and what is the study says that 50% of them is ineffective. So the better way to do this is suggesting us to calculate the man hours of the people who are already attending and how much time you are replacing the person's man hours. So based on that, you calculate how much cost we are calculating for this meeting, and you need to really analyze whether the outcome of the meeting is greater than that. In that case, you run that meeting, otherwise you just cancel it. So that kind of recommendation is giving. And before calling for meeting, so make very clear on the agenda. So prepare a meeting agenda, and you need to write the priorities and who and assign the managers who should be do the what activity. And in the meetings, speak less and ask more questions. And he also recommend to have a standing meeting. This will improve the efficiency of and each and every people, they will speak on their own and their own concerns, and they will close the meeting. And if the meeting is more than 20% in any organization, it is a serious trouble for the organization. That's what is just hinting meeting efficiencies. And another very good technique, in fact, we have been also discussed in the WhatsApp groups. So that is speed reading. So author is recommending us, and he is also telling that people who are already the speed readers, they are already reading that books in 500 to 1000 words per minute. But when an average is readers, they will be reading books from 100 to 200 words per minute. But if you practicing this speed reading, you can able to achieve 500 to 1000, which is very most of the people which is already doing that. And he also suggests how to read that. He's suggesting us to organize the books and contents, so and make a fast reading and the deep reading. So he is suggesting two different types of readings. Wherever if you are going to read the newspapers, then you can use the fast reading. So if you are going for your domain contents, then he is suggesting for the deep reading. Okay. So then we have to make selective reads whenever before going to in the speed readings. These techniques has been usually discussed. If you are going to read the book, first you have to start with covers, top cover and back cover, and then reviews, then go content, and next you chapter by chapter and subtopics. These things first you have to review. By doing this, you will have an idea of about the books. Then you select the which chapter is relevant to you. You just go and read it. In that way, you can make it an effective reading. And we have to say practice to say no. Based on the if you because there are n number of books, but we need to find out which is relevant to you. So instead of reading all the books, if you read the reviews and content, you can able to analyze. Once you see that it is not useful for you, you say to no. Yeah, this is not useful for me. And you also make a structure how to read this. If you read 2 to 3 hours in a day for a various domain. So like that, we have to structure and regroup the contents and make it one place. And for example, the fitness kind of books and self improvement books or domain related books, these things needs to be regrouped and make it in one place. And whenever we find time, like traveling, or we have a rest time, that time we can able to go and pick those contents and we can able to read. The people who are read, they become a leaders. So that's what he end with this chapter. And he also suggests us to invest on the self learning. So self improvement is the continuous process. Daily spend some time for the self improvement. And if you have 1 hour day, if you can spend 1 hour a day, you will be a 1% of people in the world. Because what the average people who can read 350 365 books in a day, that the people can read, sorry, 52 books in a year. These people have only 1% in the world. So that's what the statistics say. So and another very good suggestion he is giving is, usually a average person can travel in a car for 500 to 1000 hours in a year. So if you can use the audio book, you can able to hear that at least 2 hours per book. In that case, you can able to almost complete 250 books in a year. That is a very good utilization of reading the books. So, and he also suggests to go and join in the live workshops, and the experts who are teaching directly at least for a year. And the final chapter is explaining about organize the workspace. The people who is good at time management, usually they have organized each and in their workplace neat and clean. And even not only in the workspace, and he will also organize his computer and bookshelves and everything in organized way. So organizing the files will improve the productivity. So yeah, that's it. So that's how he is completing this 21 chapters. I hope I did. Okay. So,
Yeah. Thanks, Kudiyarsu, for that good presentation. I think